Hello and welcome. So today we are going to take a closer look at the world of One Piece, and to be a little more precise, how the oceans became overrun with pirates, to the very point that they could rival the world government in strength and authority, at least in certain areas such as the territories of the Four Emperors. And I know what you are probably thinking. Duh, watch the intro. After Goldie Roger's death, the great age of piracy had officially begun. Duh. I mean, yes, of course, but then the question remains, where did the pirates from before came from? Why did they turn to piracy? Basically, what caused so many people to go rogue? And I believe that there are 5 reasons that might explain the dawn of piracy. Number 1. Ample opportunity. The world of One Piece is largely water, which is a problem if you can't swim or you just happened to be IGN. But for piracy as a business, a broad and very deep pool of potential candidates is vital in order to sustain the heavy casualties inflicted by enemy pirates, marines, and environmental hazards. So basically anything that happened on a normal day on the Grand Line. And on the other hand, being reliant on ships in order to ship shipments because shipping goods is what ships are for, ensures that there's always ample opportunity for looting. With seafaring being a bare necessity for communication, travel and commerce, many people will have obtained skills useful to a pirate, and an able pirate will be presented with ample opportunity to loot and plunder. And as mentioned, you don't necessarily need to be a frontline fighter in order to join a pirate crew. It already is sufficient if you know a thing or two about craftsmanship, navigation, or if you are a doctor. Basically, as long as you're useful, you might get a share of every coin, meal, and treasure your crew obtains. Which brings me straight to my next point. Wealth. I mean, sure, a honest man can earn a decent living for themselves, but it is also much easier to do so if you're simply taking from the fortunate and redistribute wealth to the less fortunate, aka you and your crew. All you need is one successful raid on a small town, merchant ship or port city, and you're spending the rest of the year inside fine restaurants and equally fine women, or men, or both. My point is, as long as you're able to remain calm and collected and don't overestimate your power by, for example, trying to sail the entire Grand Line or challenge the world government directly, you can have a good life and be the big fish in the tiny pond. And since much of the Marines are focused on the Grand Line, pirate crews such as the Arlong Fisherman pirates were able to establish themselves in the East Blue, the weakest of the 4 oceans, in order to build up their power base. But maybe becoming a pirate has nothing to do with you wanting to be rich. It could be a necessity, a last resort to better your lot in life, to escape persecution and slavery. Which brings me to my next point. Freedom. Basically the philosophy of the Straw Hat Pirates. And to the Straw Hat with a Straw Hat themselves, the Pirate King is simply the one with the most freedom, which is an interesting take on monarchy, but oftentimes you won't have a real choice. Either you turn to piracy or you face persecution and death. For example, Nico Robin lost her home via extermina Buster Call and was hunted ever since she has been a little girl. And her crime? Surviving the Buster Call and wanting to know about the lost century, a time period full of mysteries and uncomfortable truths. So it is no wonder that the world government wants to keep their past a secret. And another reason might be to just escape poverty. I mean, somebody has to pay all the taxes and tributes the Marine requires to operate such a military machinery with all its men, all its supplies, all its fortresses, all its warships, all its bleeding-edge technology, and all its medical bills is always in dire need of funding. Add to this absurd high taxes levied upon entire countries to finance the opulent lifestyle of the world aristocracy, and you might be forced to choose between starvation and becoming a pirate. But on the flip side, maybe you don't need to become a pirate. You were basically chosen to be one, because you gained power beyond anything in your social circle. you are made instantly the strongest person in your village or even on your island. In a very literal sense, you have been made superior by eating your vegetables. And now you are a monster among monsters. And what good is the law if no one nearby is able to enforce it? You're a devil fruit user. Your body is steel. Your arms can turn into spears. And your wings can cause hurricanes. Alternatively, you might just turn into a dolphin and drown. Because all devil fruit eaters lose their ability to swim. So yeah, eating fruits is always a gamble. But seriously though, if you were granted an extremely strong power, possibly a logia one, 90% of the entire world is now unable to even touch, much less harm you. With your body made of clouds, slime or thunder, you basically became a god among men. You no longer need to follow rules, you make the rules. And make men follow you. And as long as you don't get too full of yourself and try to compete with the best of the best on the grand line, you're in for a fairly easy and carefree life, filled with power and people who respect your authority. Other devil fruit users are few and far between, as long as you avoid the grand line. And in most parts of the world, devil fruits are seen as a myth. So it is fairly unlikely that you would run into another pirate captain with a devil fruit ability. Realistically speaking, the only constant danger you need to fear is drowning. Again, this is a water world, so you might be in need for some swim-safe flippers or a very loyal lifeguard. And one last thing in regards to devil fruits and being a pirate. Thanks to Dr. Vegapunk's technological prowess, the world government discovered a way to make inanimate objects, such as swords or guns, consume Zoan-type devil fruits. So yes, anything from catgirls to refrigerator senpai is possible. The only downside is the price and the uncertainty of the fruit's effect, so you might need to save and try for a while. And the last reason is there to basically calm your mind and tell you that you, the vile plundering pirate, are in reality the good guy. I mean, seriously, there's a reason for why being a pirate is way less evil than one might assume. Point 5. The non-existent moral justification for the world government. I mean, just take a look at Warpool and his healthcare system, and you get a rough idea of why the world government and their member states aren't that just and morally good as they would like you to believe. And as a general rule of thumb, the higher up you go, the more corrupt the people in power will be. And on this pinnacle of corruption and affluence, a heavenly dynasty stands proud and tall. The so-called celestial dragons of Marijoa, a vile mix of incest and incompetence. The spoiled royal families come off as a mix between Ramsay Bolton and Joffrey Baratheon. And I believe if they were any more inbred, they would quite literally turn into the meat on a sandwich. And in order to maintain their opulent lifestyle, large sums of money and goods will be extorted out of every member state. And it does not matter if the country's citizen will starve or if the country will sink into civil war because of the outlandish demands of the world aristocracy. At the end, the celestial dragons will get their due. And as a celestial dragon, they are well and truly above any and all laws. For example, they are able to freely take slaves and violate them as they please, with no regards for their life or the general well-being of the lower classes. So one could even claim that they have a crime record that would make even the most vile of pirates look like law-abiding citizens by comparison. And to turn things from bad to worse, the world aristocrats have the ability to call in an admiral for backup, in case somebody fights back. And due to them openly practicing slavery, multiple pirate crews trace their existence back to being directly enslaved and oppressed by the world nobility. So as far as consistency goes, the world government set themselves high and just goals, only to dance limbo right under any and all moral high grounds they so like to claim. Additionally, and this is also quite the incentive, the world government themselves openly cooperates with sufficiently strong pirates. The more vile and evil, cruel and feared, the better. The 7 samurai of the sea are strong pirates that should scare other pirates in exchange for protection from the world government. So simultaneously, the system acts as a deterrent and, due to the protective status offered, as an incentive. So if the government will offer absolution and legitimization to all crimes committed via membership of the 7 samurai, while being simultaneously much more cruel and vile than you will ever be, why should you hesitate to steal and plunder as you please? If anything, you're holding the moral high ground right now. At least you're honest about your identity as a pirate. I mean, everybody can see and fear your Jolly Roger. And if nothing else, at least you don't pretend to be something better. So I believe that all of these factors combined led to the dawn of the Pirate Age, that would eventually give birth to such legends as Garp, Goldie Roger, Sengoku, and Whitebeard. And I hope that this little video was insightful. So basically this was my first non-Overlord related anime lore video stuff. This of course does not mean that no more Overlord content will be posted, just that you get more content in addition to it. So anyway, this is it, have a nice day, over and out.